So I just bought stock in Xpeng and NIO. They are two electric car manufacturers. And I'm wondering how the haters who think that I'm a Tesla superfan are going to reconcile that with their emotions. Anyway, Xpeng in particular has made some recent announcements which I believe signal that they are ready to double their electric car sales this year and start actually taking a decent market share in Europe, which is the second largest market for electric cars in the world. And this, my friends, is going to change this company, and it's going to change the West perception of this company, which I believe will lead to a significant increase in the value of Xpeng's stock price, which, by the way, has just lost nearly 40%. Good time to buy. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. Welcome to the channel, all you new subscribers. Welcome back to everyone else. Great to have you here. So, why have I bought Xpeng stock? When I'm a Tesla superfan, how could I do that? It's outrageous. It's insane. I mean, come on. Truth is, I actually bought Xpeng and NIO stock before I bought Tesla stock. And I've owned Xpeng and NIO stock continually. I haven't sold it over that period of time. So, I've just added to my stock portfolio after seeing Xpeng and NIO stock prices go down quite a bit, by about 40%. I think it's a really good opportunity right now to buy growth stocks, in particular electric car manufacturers, including Tesla, NIO, Xpeng. Even Rivian as well is a good buy right now. Lucid, no, stay away from that. But Rivian too, I think, is a good opportunity. Now, what is going on here with Xpeng? Well, here is some really interesting information. A couple of things. I'm going to talk about batteries, which matters. It's actually really important what Xpeng are doing with batteries. They're following a similar trajectory in some way to what Tesla followed. So that is important. And I want to talk about how many vehicles Xpeng plans on selling this year. Now, Xpeng expects to deliver 13,000 vehicles in January, but that's a decline over December's numbers, but that's pretty normal for China. But they're aiming for 250,000 in total this year. Now, as of January the 26th, 2022, Xpeng Motors has delivered about 13,000 electric cars in China, and total deliveries for the month are expected to be just over 13,000, local media reported. Now, Xpeng revealed the figures in a recent communication with institutions, saying that the existing order volume is 16,481 units, according to the report. So clearly Xpeng got more orders than they can actually deliver this month. But the interesting thing is here, even though it wasn't a lot more orders, they actually have a significant backlog. So they're not even going to be able to get through that backlog, as in orders keep on increasing and the number of vehicles that Xpeng can actually build aren't increasing fast enough to keep pace with those orders. Now, Xpeng delivered a record 16,000 vehicles, all electric cars, in December. That's an increase of 2.5% from the 15,600 that they delivered in November. That's according to figures released by the company earlier this month. Now, the 13,000 vehicles that Xpeng will deliver in January, or potentially 14,000 we'll see by the end of the month, is a 116% increase year over year versus the same month in 2021. Now, the decline in January sales is pretty much due to traditional slow sales in China in January. It's the same in every retail segment across the entire country and has been for as far back as I can see from sales data. Now, Xpeng's flagship P7 had the highest number of orders and deliveries in January, with orders currently at 7,278 units. The G3 SUV has the lowest sales among all models, and it will be marginalized in the future due to its low selling price and low profitability, according to the report. Now, I personally have talked to you guys about in the past the Xpeng P5. I believe that vehicle will be a game changer, not only for consumers who will be able to afford a vehicle for a similar price to a Toyota Camry, an electric vehicle, by the way, which is insanely impressive, but also for Xpeng. I believe Xpeng will eventually end up selling probably a couple of 100,000 of these per year within a couple of years. Now, if you haven't seen my video about the Xpeng P5, that video was featured on a few different websites, big websites. I think you should check it out, because truly, honestly, I believe that vehicle is going to change the paradigm for electric cars. Why? Because it's a luxury car without a luxury car price tag. When I say it's a luxury car, well, you need to check out the video to see it is legitimately a luxury car priced at a similar price to a Toyota Camry. I don't know how Toyota plans on competing with that. I mean, if Xpeng can ramp up their car sales over the next few years into the hundreds, potentially millions, I think it's a significant area where Toyota will be disrupted, or not just companies like Toyota, but other Mazda, many different legacy auto car companies, Honda. I really think this is a huge opportunity for Xpeng, and people just aren't seeing it now. They just think, what were their sales last month? That's all many people seem to be able to understand. They can't think, well, what are they going to be selling in 5 years from now? And that's where I'm looking. I'm looking at the possible opportunities here for Xpeng, not only as a company, but as a consumer. That's the fantastic news, that you and I will both have the opportunity within a matter of only a couple of years to be able to buy battery-powered vehicles for the same price as ICE-powered vehicles. Now, Xpeng's deliveries in March are expected to obviously increase. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to hit that 250,000 figure for the year. Now, Xpeng delivered only 98,000 electric cars in 2021, although that's a lot more electric cars than most mainstream legacy auto manufacturers. But that exceeded its target of 90,000. So they exceeded their target by nearly 10%. And like I said, the company is aiming to deliver 250,000 in 2022. But they have a target of hitting 300,000 for the year. And that's a pretty big number. I mean, that's 1/3 of all the electric cars that Tesla sold in 2021. The question is, can they do it? 300,000, that's a big number. They need to significantly ramp up this year to be able to hit that number. And how are they going to ramp up, you might say? Sounds impossible, going from 98,000 to 300,000. Well, is it? Well, obviously, the biggest thing you need to ramp up is battery supply. And that is where Xpeng are making deals. Now, Xpeng has made a deal with CALB to give them a lot of battery supply. In addition to that, they plan on replacing some of their vehicles' batteries that currently use CATL batteries with CALB batteries. Now, reports coming out of China within the last 24 hours say that Xpeng will gradually replace power cells originally supplied by CATL, this is coming to you from CNEV Post, by the way, CALB's batteries in the future, because the price of CATL's batteries has risen, increasing Xpeng's costs. Now, according to this report, Xpeng revealed the plan in a recent communication with institutional agencies, saying the move was a response to pressure from rising costs. And I believe they strategically leaked this information in order to get CALB to compete with CATL on battery costs. Makes sense, right? Leak this information to the press. CATL, what do? They go, oh, hang on. Is CALB going to eat our lunch? Do we need to reduce our prices for Xpeng? And these two, they play them off against each other. This is the kind of thing that Tesla does probably every day of the week. We just don't hear about it because this is the kind of information that they don't disclose. So what does this mean? This means that Xpeng this year will have battery supply from 3 different companies. That is very important if you want to get from 98,000 EVs to 300,000 within 12 months. Now, Xpeng will continue to use lithium iron phosphate batteries from EVE Energy, which are mainly used in their lower trim models. So this is basically what Tesla does. Lithium iron phosphate batteries in their lower trim models and NCA or NCM chemistry batteries in their higher trim models. But it turns out Xpeng are not going to get supply from only 3 battery manufacturers. There's actually a 4th manufacturer. Now, Late Post reported earlier this week that Xpeng, which has been using CATL as their primary battery supplier, has decided to also use batteries from local supplier Sunwoda in its mid-size G9 SUV, which was released last November. So Sunwoda makes a total of 4 different battery suppliers for Xpeng. Now, Xpeng said they will continue to partner with top-tier companies such as CATL as its main suppliers, but it didn't deny the fact that it gets batteries now from an additional 3 companies on top of CATL. Now, according to a 36KR report, Xpeng plans to bring in CALB as its new primary battery supplier, which would cut into CATL's share of supply. Now, Xpeng sources suggested this report was true, saying that the parts supply chain needs to be continually improved to better ensure supply and volume. and to more accurately predict delivery cycles. Now, on Saturday, the China Star Market quoted Xpeng as saying that this news is not yet official. The preparation of the vehicle for production and the selection of suppliers is an important part of the company's business plan, and it's subject to the vehicle's filing with China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, the company said. Now, I think what's going on here is this. Xpeng hasn't necessarily signed on the dotted line for the amount of batteries it will get from all these suppliers. Now, these three other suppliers I've quoted, CALB, Eve Energy, and Sunwoda, are much smaller players in China. They're sort of bit players right now, but they want to become CATL, as you would. So what are they willing to do? Well, this is one key issue that people are missing. These companies are willing to make a loss, from what I'm hearing, in order to get these contracts. Then they can use brands like Xpeng to promote their company in order to get more contracts with other companies. So you got to remember, when you hear this information that the cost of batteries is increasing, companies like Xpeng can be smart about this. They can use lithium iron phosphate batteries in their lower cost vehicles. In addition to that, they can get battery companies to play off against each other by announcing their names or leaking them to the media. And then they can also find these battery companies who are trying to get market share. They only have very small market share, trying to gain market share and trying to get their name in the market. And they know, these companies, they know that if they can get their name in the market for supplying to Xpeng, then it's possible they could get a contract with a company like Tesla or other big companies such as Volkswagen. Who knows, maybe even in the future, companies like Ford or Toyota or other legacy auto manufacturers, if they're still around. So this is a big part of the strategy here from Xpeng. And I think Xpeng's CEO is a very intelligent man. I've spoken about him in the past. I'll put some links to some of my other videos from Xpeng in the comment section below. So all of this leads to my final conclusion here, and that is why I invested in Xpeng. If the company does grow from 98,000 to 250,000 vehicle sales in 2022, that will be a huge reason to drive up the share price. But remember, Xpeng actually beat their delivery target by 10% in 2021. If they beat their target by 10% in 2022, that would lead them to 275,000 electric vehicle deliveries for the year. But their stretch target is 300,000. They could hit that. It's very possible. Now remember, Xpeng will be talked about a lot more in the media this year for one key reason. Not just their sales of electric cars, but where their electric cars are being sold. When their electric cars are being sold in Europe, you're going to hear about them a lot more. And that's why I predict their share price is going to bounce back up this year. It's going to do very well. But by the way, I'm not a financial analyst. Take this all with a grain of salt. Do your own investment research. I'm not suggesting you buy the stock, but I'm just telling you why I have done so. I hope you have a fantastic day. I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Bye-bye.